Hi everyone, thanks for watching. You can support our work on our website ageoftruthtv. And please like our videos, subscribe to our channels on YouTube, BitChute and Brighteon. And remember to hit the bell for notifications. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook. To be sure not to miss any of our shows, you can sign up for our newsletter on our website ageoftruthtv. Great. So great to have you both on here. It's going to be a very exciting, at least now we can do it.
Oh. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? My God, what took so long?
Yes. Well, you know.
Well, thank God for you, Lauke. How wonderful. It's so great to see both of you. You look great, both.
Oh my God, Lucas. Great to seeing you finally after such a long time.
It has been a long time for all of us here, huh? And you've never met, but I thought it would be really exciting to put the two of you together, because I do think there's an interesting connection because of, you know, how I know both of you.
You know, I trust that. I knew that is something meaningful, and I can already tell.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Age of Truth TV. I'm Lucas Alexander in Copenhagen, Denmark. And our two wonderful guests today are with us to discuss a lot of important topics. They're both fascinating and beautiful women, activists, artivists, artists, painters, healers, performance artists, and spiritual channelers. They've both been with us before, and it's going to be so exciting to do this roundtable discussion about what is going on in the world anno 2024. We have so much to discuss, and I can't wait for you to see this conversation. And while you do it, please comment in the comment section below, because we would love to hear from you. So joining us from Germany and from Mexico, Joanna Pilatovich and Davida Sal. How are we changing? Are we changing for the better? Is this the real transformation? Did all of our work being truth speakers, did it help? Did it change something? What are your thoughts? We would love for you to comment in the comment section below as you watch this program with these two wonderful, beautiful, and fascinating women. Joanna Pilatovich is joining us from Germany, and from Mexico, we're joined by Davida Sal.
Tonight, actually last night, I had a dream. I was with the woman on the beach. I didn't know her yet. And yes, she
tall, red-headed.
She right there had an idea to do something, but the waves were so huge. We evoked something that was coming emotionally so huge for humankind. There was more people. She somehow was together with me, and I said, I'm not going to the beach now. And she was ready to go to the beach, but the waves were so big that we both were on that beach, but that water was coming to us. And I say, well, guess what? I didn't want to go to the beach, so the beach came to us.
Wow, you know, like Mahoma goes to the mountain, go to Mahoma.
So I can already tell you work with a lot of emotions, with processing emotions. I don't know you yet, but I will get to know you. Thanks to
Are you a sign water? Are you a water sign?
No, I'm actually everything. It depends from what feng shui or astrology, because in Feng Shui I'm fire, then water, then metal, then earth. In astrology I'm earth. How about you?
Well, I'm Pisces. I'm a Pisces.
Wow.
And you know, I made a movie as a mermaid 2 years ago. So, and I love tsunamis. I love tsunamis. It's like, you know,
that
waves.
was a tsunami in my dream. Yes.
Ah, I have a movie. It's called Waves. So, you know, I'm all about water, waves. You know, it's
Interesting.
how we communicate through water.
Yeah, it's amazing. I use those elements in the dream with the partners. When I'm dancing, I can tell the elements. Lucas, and how about your elements? We don't know.
I'm the first day in Gemini, in the Gemini.
Oh.
Well, air is Gemini, the sign of the of communication, which is what I do. So, so I guess that says a lot. But you were talking about waves. Let's try and make some waves today, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm happy. I guess we had some technical difficulties here, but Lauke helped you guys out, and now it sounds fine to me.
It's perfect. I can hear you.
That was the warm-up. We needed to warm up, you know.
Absolutely.
Challenges makes you like ready.
So before we go on, just, I mean, well, Davida, tell us where you are. You're in Mexico, right?
Yes, I'm actually in the voted best little city in the world 3 years in a row, San Miguel de Allende. This is where, you know, the Mexican Revolution was birthed, you know, and so it's a very special land. You know, it's a high altitude colonial city and it's beautiful, it's really safe. And I'm inviting you both to come and visit. Mi casa, su casa.
Oh, mi casa es tu casa. I love it.
Beautiful. We'd love to do that. I'd love to go to Mexico. A lot of truthers go to Mexico these days.
I know, we're all here. Like we all moved from the United States or the expert truth community. We're all here because US is a fucking mess. So we're actually safer here in Mexico than US.
Wow, really?
More freedom, more everything. You know, this is it's an amazing country. It's really happy.
That's what a lot of people say. And Joanna, you're always moving about, you know, and sometimes you are in Poland, sometimes you are in Germany, but where are you right now?
So now I'm in Germany. Past almost 3 months, I was in Barcelona. And that's amazing because Davida is from Barcelona and I'm thinking about moving there.
It's beautiful in Barcelona. I
you
love
didn't
Barcelona.
know about it, but somehow you connect us. So that proves this, you know, intuitive part of you all the time. Like you have to have a reason, like your soul is guiding you with all those, you know, guests, invitation and how you do it. Like I feel it all the time. And I say, yeah, okay, let's do this. Who is Davida? And then boom, dream. Then she's from Barcelona. I say, okay, there is more to it. I find out with you guys today.
Well, that's wonderful. And I always feel that there is a red thread. There is some kind of guidance. At least I'm very strong in my sense, my intuition. And I guess that's what has been guiding the whole thing for us on the show for a long time, doing, you know, what we've been doing with all of these extraordinary people. So I'm just really thrilled. And the last time we saw each other, Joanna, was with Eric Hanan, and we did this wonderful, wonderful show together. Then.
Oh, that was lovely. And yeah, she's lovely. And greetings to her. If you're going to record this, I don't know how you're going to cut it later. But that's the thing about your guests, you know, they're so deeply thinking people on your show. And the way like you like encouraging them to talk their truth. This is amazing for me. So one of the, you know, channels that I really love to listen. And sometimes I didn't make it, you know, till the end because I fell asleep, no time. But I have the vibe, you know, and the questions you are asking, say, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm just very, I mean, we have the best viewers in the world. I have to say that. The most wonderful people watching us. I mean, I'm really astonished. And that's basically why we keep on doing this, you
Yeah.
know,
And
because
you're not
of,
scared because you know the topics you are touching on is actually scary. And things that those people are talking about, they are targeted a lot of times. And I recently, I even still rethink. I wrote you an email and I still rethink, should I talk about it on in a public or not? Because about certain beings, um, they are really targeting people. So, you know, and they are everywhere and they're very sneaky and they are immortals, right? So
That's
that's what
what they want. They want us scare us, shut us up, and we shouldn't allow them to gain us over. So we should speaking up, doing it in more creative ways, you know, but we shouldn't be scared. Nothing can stop me from speaking my truth.
And let's tell the audience, Joanna, just briefly, you're an investigative reporter. Of course, you have your own show, and you're a truth researcher, and you are a healer as well, and other things. Just tell people briefly what you are.
what am I now? So since like I don't know, some past years, because of course I was an artist all the time. I'm an author, I'm painting abstract. These are like talismans for people. They put it like a color therapy and using as accessories of feng shui. So basically I started with dancing, dance teaching, art, and I just was normally going to university, wanted to work and have a normal life. But what happened? I always had dreams. So now, past over 16 years, I'm decoding our patterns and looking, going into DNA memory and permanent memory. And I'm decoding those patterns. So a lot is happening on psychological level, but a lot also on reincarnation. And now with this research, and this is maybe something that will be interesting also for everybody, I discovered something like we actually, the soul is not only not progressing at sometimes, but is degrading from the great powers we discover with clients on the workshop, people who dream. They have great powers. But within reincarnation, it's like less and less, and they tend to repeat the same story. It's like unfinished business over and over again, and then they forget and they start again, and someone calls them, tells them that it's a karma. So I got really to the maybe a roots recently during the channeling and regression session, and things that came out really changed the course. Like it's quicker now with the coding, because you know before it took us longer time. It was 1 hour session, you read tarot, and now it's just within seconds you can change the coding. It's amazing. So that's what I'm doing like recently behind all this, you know, writing, art and books and so on. Sorry to not be so quickly with precising what exactly am I doing.
So it's some kind of channeling and regression therapy.
I'm not doing regression. I'm using divination and tarot. And when I'm getting to the root, like what's going on, where was the lock? I'm working directly in a timeline. And what I also discovered, maybe I should tell that straight away, because this is like a mega information for everyone who's a healer, worker, to pay attention. Maybe people will actually tell us in the comments that they encounter that something you work out and then you're good for a while, but then this thing keeps on repeating. The problem comes back and somehow it goes on. So what I discovered recently is that there are certain entities that go back in time and they switch it back. So you cannot really clear that trauma, clear that decoding. So then the next thing that is necessary for us to do is we need to work in all the timelines at the same time. I don't know if it's understood what I'm trying to portray here. But if we address it only in a present time, it can happen that something is draining our energy like 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt. You know what I mean? And this is what I encountered. This is amazing because here everything is good. Someone, you can help someone with, for example, we cannot use that word, but someone who would like to finish the life, right? We cannot use that word on YouTube, by the way. So we go back in time and then we see entities that is directly draining this person, this young artist, draining directly from the energy, but it's happening in the past, in ancient times. But it influences his now, being him right here, right now. So if I go back in time and fix it there, then suddenly his ideas of finishing, you know, life disappears. Right? It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, wow, it sounds interesting.
But for now, I'm bringing back the lost parts of souls, you know, the lost part of our essence. Because the more we know, the more we know who we are. If we don't remember, we cannot know who we really are. So I'm bringing those pieces back to one person, and those powers that were cut off by different beings, they mess with our DNA, they put blockages. We actually can observe that if you imagine DNA structure, you can see those blockages. So yeah, creating the environment so it's easier to bring it back. And I like to say that I'm not doing that. I'm just creating environment so it's easier for those people. So
You are the
I'm still a
facilitator.
still a teacher, you know, navigator through it, so they can actually fish for those parts. I'm just there. I'm just seeing, pointing out, and directing, so they can actually do their work themselves. I think the best client is the client that doesn't need you anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you heal someone, you are not actually healing them. You are allowing them to open
Yes, I do nothing, I like to say. Yeah.
to themselves. You know, you are the facilitator. Me
Yeah.
as a priestess of Isis, I'm the channeler, I'm the messenger. But I'm not doing anything other than just downloading what's already there and just transmuting it and putting it in a, you know, speakable language and actions. So we're channelers. I relate so much to you. You know, like I want to ask you one question. Why are memories from past lives are erased from the hard drive when we're born? You know? Because that would help a lot to understand who we are, but that completely wiped off from our memory. I mean, it's still there, right? The Akasha records is still there, you know, but that would help so much in this lifetime if we knew how we fucked up in the past life, you know?
You're right, because you are a channeler yourself. So that is amazing. See how, Lucas, you connected us. We don't even know that about each other yet. Exactly. Because when I'm writing my books, I'm hearing immortals. Immortals are coming to me, and some are part of me from ancient times. Some are just entities that just have their stories, like Nephthys, Lilith, two sides of Lilith, and so on. So, you know, you channeling your
Is Isis twin sister?
Isis.
You know, Isis.
Amazing. I think we have some journey here with your Isis.
I know, you know, like I'm a priestess of Isis, but nobody knows about Nephthys. So I'm really glad
Nobody knows about, because she was
Nobody
pushed
knows
aside.
her.
She told me that she was a little bit pushed aside.
I know. Isis took all the credit, you know, and
Yes,
Nephthys in the
yes.
shadows.
She was aside. She was in the shadow. And, you know, it's interesting because maybe we can connect that knowledge, and everyone has glimpses. So what Nephthys told me, I actually put it in a new book, Dancing on the Edge. She told me that immortals, some of them, they are jealous about humankind, that they don't remember. Some of them, they are different beings, of course. They are just like humans. We all are, you know, feeling everything. Because Nephthys is Nephthida in Polish language. She cannot forget. They cannot forget. If you are immortal, every experience you have, you cannot forget. You cannot erase that. You live with that forever. So the process of evolution takes sometimes also very long time because you have immortality. And some of the beings are actually incarnating or connecting with humans. They don't want to remember. So that's also true. They sometimes they make that choice. But we know already there is a trap in that choice. Hey, come to Earth, it's gonna be fun, right? So
And a
so
trap also in heaven, or at least in the Archon realm at the point of death, at the end of the tunnel, the reincarnation recycling system that will wipe your memory and put those souls back into a new body. And we've done a lot of shows about that. So that's also probable explanation. Just to jump in here and just tell the audience a little bit about Davida. We've done a great show with you a few years ago, really fascinating show about you being an artist, performance artist, an artivist.
I call myself an artivist.
Yes,
You know,
an
at that
artivist.
time,
And you wrote some really great books with
thank you. I should send you one. Did I send you one?
You
Yeah.
did send me one, and I loved it, and I appreciate that book. It's
Oh,
beautiful. That it was like a long book, a picture book, almost a
yeah.
little coffee table book, but it's very, very
That's the
nice.
second one. You need the first one. So I'll send you that too. If you send me a selfie with the book for promotion purposes, you know, I'm a very good promotion.
what is your book about?
Well, so first of all, you know, I always wanted to be an actress, always wanted to make movies. That was my passion since I was a little girl. And in 2012, my whole world ended, you know, and it was the ending of the Mayan calendar, and everybody was telling me, oh, it's the end of the world, get ready, Planet X is going to crash the Earth, a solar flare, something's going to happen, right, in 2012. So it actually happened. It was the end of my world as I knew it, because my mom, my most important person in my whole universe, died. So that was the end of the world for me. So I have to go back to Spain. You know, I was in the US, and then I reinvented myself. I went to one of the protests. They were in Madrid, in the capital. And in that moment, you know, I said that in the past show, I'm going to repeat it again. So there was a moment of violence. There were like hundreds, thousands of protesters and the riot police, you know, fighting with each other. You know, the protesters were throwing glass bottles, the riot police were charging against them with, you know, in that moment, I thought I have to do something to bring peace, to bring a moment of harmony, beauty, you know, and I thought in that moment, I didn't even think. I said, I'm just going to remove my clothes in the middle of everything,
Wow.
you know? And then I closed my eyes, I kneeled down, and it was really cold. It was winter time. It was very cold, but I started, you know, like praying to Isis, to the goddess Isis, and then suddenly I was surrounded by journalists, photographers from all over the world. And that image went viral. And I noticed in that moment I shifted the energy from chaos, violence, ugliness, to a moment of beauty, like a moment of, you know, wow, what's going on? So I shifted the energy. And that moment I realized how powerful we are. One person can change the world. So if we really want to. Growing up, I remember that man, the Chinese man with the shopping bags. It was a tiny, tiny little Chinese man in Tiananmen Square. He stopped 1910s. You remember the Tiananmen Square massacre, you know, thousands of protesters were killed, and, you know, and China is so eager to hide that part of history. So in that moment, that little man really stopped 1910s. So it's like a mom seeing a car coming to run over her baby. The mom is going to stop the car in movement with her will, you know? So we're so powerful as human beings. So in that moment, I started my revolution, Jill Love Revolution. And until now, it's been 14 years. I published 2 books. I went viral many times. I've done amazing things that I was channeling. So
And
I was
I need to tell the audience that they really, if they haven't seen the show that we did, Davida, some years ago, they should really see it, because they'll hear your entire history, they'll see some pictures, and they'll see how inventive and creative and very artistic and rather provocative you have been over the years. And you have really done a lot, and you're not afraid of removing your clothes, dressing up, painting your body, doing all kinds of things. Some of those things are pretty morbid as well, at least so that people, I mean, that will open a few eyes for sure, and that is the very controversial part of it. So, I mean, that whole story we go into in that previous interview we did, so people should watch that. But I'm really interested now that we are on the same page here, both you and Joanna. Let me just start with my first question here, and I'd like to ask both of you this question. I mean, let's talk about the state of the world right now, anno 2024, and there's been a lot of talk about the mass awakening and that more and more people are waking up. But do we really see the change in the vibration on Earth?
absolutely.
Is it changing for the better? Or are we just shouting out for nothing? I mean, in the bigger picture, when you see what's really going on and what they are doing to us, implementing the New World Order and all the tactics and strategies and wars and maneuvers that they're doing, has a real change really occurred? Let's start with you, Davida.
Absolutely. Let me jump in, because, you know, this is the most important time in human history, and we volunteer to be here right now, okay? So sometimes I catch myself complaining, saying, what the fuck am I doing in this world with these crazy humans fighting with each other, killing each other? What the fuck am I doing? I want to go back home. But then I remember I volunteered to come here to make a difference, to make a change. So the planet is evolving at high speed, and we are too at the same time. So especially in the eclipse in April 8th, I noticed a big shift on the vibration of the planet.
And that we're going to talk about as well. You're going to talk because you have a lot to share. Your
but I just want to say that reality has split it in two. So in one way, where this part of humanity is evolving, raising their frequency, you know, becoming more aware, more awake. In the other side, people are plugged in more in the matrix. They're afraid of leaving the matrix. They're protecting the matrix. They're the Asian Smiths of the matrix. So we have two realities going on, and you can clearly see, right? So it's like two realities going on once. So
Joanna, are you able to see it in the same way as Davida explains, that there are like two, it's a crossroad, and one part of the population is going in one direction, being awake and aware, and the other one is becoming even more maybe enslaved in the matrix and in the mind? I mean, that's certainly what we have been seeing for the last 4 years. But I mean, all of what we are doing, this mass awakening, as I was just
Totally.
what we've been doing for years, does it really matter? Do we see the change?
Yeah, totally. It makes sense. Totally. Everything, Davida, what you said, I totally hear that and see that, observe that, feel that. And you had about this split of energy. You know, I also have a lot of guests, and we invite each other, and we all talk the same things. People have dreams. Like the train is splitting in two directions, and you got to choose which direction you go, because the more it goes, the gap is bigger and bigger. And I give you example. When you talk to people who got ketchup, I try to, you know what I mean, right? Those who got ketchup past years, right? You
Oh, I
understand?
see.
You understand what I mean? And
Yes.
those who didn't, everybody has to support their choice, so rationalize psychologically why they chose what they chose, and these groups are still fighting. But the example is, for example, if I talk with someone who has no idea or doesn't want to understand anything, even psychological, not mentioning paranormal, quantum physics, they don't understand you. They say, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like you talk Chinese. It's they don't hear you. It's one major tip how you can differentiate that. And it is said that when the planet is in the threat, we have a major threat that this planet can be destroyed. We have a major threat from not after the second, we can actually say that word now, war. We had this, Blue Book project. You, Lucas, did numbers of videos. Oh my God, so much about it. And the contracts between those beings. And there is this big contract. Maybe you can also, you probably know Glenn Steckling. And he has this foundation, Adamski Foundation in San Diego. And I think that's going to be a lovely guest for you, because he was showing me also jewelry from another planet, from the aliens, like online, and how they were protecting the earth, and how other beings are into using, and also other gray beings that are us from the future. And I'm combining all this, just like you, Lucas, and you, Davida, that we are losing digestive system. More and more people cannot digest, have problems with digestion. Those beings, remember those cows that suddenly had no blood in them? So those grays, they had this problem, and they were claiming that they are us from the future. And anytime the souls seeing that there is a threat to the planet, like the humanity is destroying themselves and going direction that we should not go, transhumanism, right? Being like a cyborg, like those grays, there is no turning back. All those programs about hybridizations, anybody who dreams that they are impregnated with babies, giving birth on this, in the ships, at the ships, this is what I'm talking about. I had pictures of women sending me after night, scratches on their bodies, right? This is crazy. This is like not supposed to happen. And we have psychics. We are psychics. All of us have those abilities that we can connect this knowledge. So anytime that happens, the point is that more souls like us are coming here, because when we work together, we are unstoppable. So of course, we're not allowing it. So there is absolutely change. There is absolutely shift. And this time, like astrologically, how it plays out, it's easier for us to connect. But the other side, of course, it's very skilled too. So for example, what the recent messages, I got connected with someone that it was purely on a telepathic level, and I cannot even find that person, because she stated clearly that, we are going to be a target, and she already is. But it was a scientist, and she was even teaching me how they use mind control on the people. And I'm not going to teach that here, because we know that whoever is listening that, but there are methods that are studied for such a long time. It has something to do, of course, with CERN, with institutes of remote viewing, all those programs, military, and those bases underground. There's so many of those places. The idea is that they are messing up the thought, and it's very important we mirror each other, we connect this knowledge, so we know that what we're seeing is not mind control, because they can do that. They can do that. They can actually, you know, if you have you're channeling Isis, Davida, so they can try to use the image of Isis to mind control you. And I don't know, maybe you already had that, but when I was a kid and I believed in Saint Mary, and actually Saint Mary came to me and she gave apartment to my parents just because I asked. It was magical. So there are some beings later on that after one interview of Pleiadians, those entities came to me at night and they tried to pretend to be Saint Mary. But because we can sense and we have a, you know, this ethics and how we check, right? We can pick it up that something is not right here.
And
Davida,
you know,
you want to say something?
sorry, let me jump in because that's going to happen more and more as we go on.
Yeah.
Now with the Project Blue being, you know,
yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah.
they're gonna have these holographic gods coming down. They're gonna call them aliens or
Yes.
Virgin Mary or Jesus, you know, to control us. And many people will believe that. I mean, it's so mind-blowing to me that they can still believe what they see on the TV, but many will believe it, you know. And they were testing with the Aurora Boreal. You know, the Aurora Boreal that was visible here in San Francisco. I don't know if you know.
The Northern Lights. The
Northern Lights. The Aurora Boreal, Northern
Yes.
Lights.
Yeah.
They were testing, and you can see these colors on the sky that they were so artificial, and people believed it was a natural phenomenon. So
And
they can do
actually, I
anything.
just also want to jump in here, Davida. They also tested that in Denmark, and we've never seen Northern Lights. I mean, that you have to go to Norway or Sweden, which is our neighbor countries above us here. We are in the south, but everybody was seeing it just a few weeks ago, and it did not look exactly the same. So you're right on the mark there, Davida.
Very artificial, you know. I mean, you can tell. I mean, come on, we're so disconnected from our gut feelings that, you know, we're disconnected from our own truths. So you can see something and say, this is real and this is not. You don't have to ask any doctor or scientist or physician, you know it. That's fake. Right?
So that's probably HARP
That's
technology. You know, that's probably HARP technology that they're using for this. And there's also a HARP version here in Norway at Tromsø, which is also who are able to do weather modification and Northern Lights, whatever you want, and mind control. But you also, Davida, say you talk. It's very interesting. You also say that the very famous solar eclipse on the 8th of April, that was also fake. How do you justify that?
Well, okay. Well, I didn't come to that conclusion until the very day before the eclipse. Okay, that's a funny one. And, you know, I witnessed with my own eyes the 2017 eclipse, total solar eclipse. I was in Oregon. And I wanted to see the eclipse with my own eyes, removing the glasses. Because, you know, when the government tells you to do something, I tend to do the opposite. So, you know, it's just that's how I'm wired, right? So if they tell me to wear glasses, I'm going to do the opposite. So that was 7 years ago, right? So I never connected the dots until April 8th, solar eclipse. I went to Mazatlan in Mexico, was one of the best spots in the world to witness a solar eclipse. NASA was there, everybody was there. I went there, I wanted to shoot a movie. I was just ready to enjoy the solar eclipse, right? But the week before, I was feeling so sick. I had headaches, fatigue. I was feeling like I couldn't sleep. I had night sweats. It was horrible. I was feeling so unwell, and I'm very healthy. I eat organic. So as we were approaching the solar eclipse, I was feeling so uneasy, you know, and I was feeling like I was terrified of the solar eclipse. I said, I don't really want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I want nothing to do with the solar eclipse, even though I was there to see the solar eclipse. So the skies were blue a week before, 2 days before the solar eclipse. You could see the chemtrails blocking the sky. you know, and it was overcast. So I didn't know anything about the eclipse, but I started doing some research, you know, doing my own research, going to YouTube, Instagram videos, and see how people thought about the eclipse. And it was a very catastrophic event in biblical proportions, you know, because it was crossing over many biblical cities in Texas, Jonas in city in Texas, and here I have it here written down over Jonas, and then like 8 cities called Nineveh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Nineveh was a corrupt city, and you know, like I don't know, I was just checking all these coincidences, right? And a town called Rapture in Indiana. So everybody was talking about, oh my God, that's the end of the world, right? And United States, they love that shit because they want to sell you all these end of the world packages of food, and people were freaking out over toilet paper and gas and
Yeah.
you know, they like to freak out the population so they can buy more things, right?
It's a good business.
Yeah, good, really good business. So, and then the very last video I watched, it was about the Native American wisdom, saying they never watch the eclipse. They always go inside their homes, they meditate, they stay with the family, they never go out to see the eclipse. And I was thinking, wow, that's interesting, because the government is telling us to enjoy the event. Go out and put the glasses on, enjoy the event, NASA's there.
Who's feeding on it? My question.
Besides, promote it all over the news and the TV and the government and everything. They wanted us to be there and see the eclipse. So I thought, I think I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to stay home. I was feeling very sick. I'm going to pull the curtains, be in the dark, put in a sleeping mask, meditating, having my ISIS, my sage, you know. And in that moment, I was starting having downloads, seeing the eclipse with my own eyes without being outside, you know, so weird. And then I realized it came to my mind that it wasn't the moon blocking the sun, because usually they both come from the east, but the moon was coming from the west. So and I remember in 2017 I couldn't see the moon coming in or coming out. I assumed it was because it was a new moon and we couldn't see it because the moon is reflecting the sunlight, blah blah blah. And I never questioned anything until April the 8th. And then I started seeing this thing blocking the sun, and it was a black sun hole. It was like a hole, like a black hole on the sun. So it was opening a portal.
Thank you for that word, yes.
I started connecting the dots. CERN was activated again on April 8th.
It is related to CERN, so that's good that you say that. Interesting.
And we were very concerned. I was very concerned because CERN, you know, with the Shiva statue at the entrance, the god of chaos and destruction, and all these weird things, and the ceremonies they do in CERN, they're so satanic. I mean, can you see that? And then what I discovered in the same day, Peter Higgs from the Higgs boson particle, God's particle, he died, the physicist who discovered the God's particle. And it was proven in 2012 with CERN. Do you know that, Peter Higgs? He died in that day, April 8th, when CERN was reactivated again.
Really?
I didn't know that.
I was connecting all these coincidences, all these things, and it was, oh my God, that was like a sacrifice or something almost.
Yeah.
So it was very, very weird. And I talked to all my light worker friends. They were all having headaches and nightmares. They couldn't sleep.
Can I ask you about it?
Yeah.
about these mood swings, because everything what you're saying, it is so much connected. Probably Lucas has a lot to say here as well, and we just probably would, you know, talk one through another just to make more of those information that are sitting like put together right now, because those mood swings, I don't know why, but I had information that is connected with chips. Like every one of us has chips, and the new chips, because those that we saw a long time ago, that they come at night and they put a chip or whatever, that's an old story. It's existing for the comfort. But in these days, people are complaining about something walking on their skin. And I saw the image of, this is not artificial intelligence, this is super intelligence. It's a microbiotic like organism that is very much alive, and is used also not only in tracking your thoughts, but also influencing the thoughts. So it's very easy, because if they mess up the weather, I don't know how it is in your country, but in Germany, I am here 2 months, the weather is like that. It's crazy. It can change. It's like the weather has a mood swings, not mentioning chemtrails. The same is happening with us, because if we are influenced, it's rather hard to focus and find a clear thought and concentrate our energy. So we have to be so careful right now to actually be a little bit indifferent, because if you are indifferent, your energy cannot be really collected. But if you are feeling bad and you calling people and talk about it and you make it worse, that's a perfect food. And then you mentioned those portals. What I saw, and I specifically asked, and I was in trance this time, like a half trance. So I specifically asked, like, okay, who are they? Because all the world talks about entities we don't see, it's aliens. But I say, I want to know, who are they? Show me, right? So I was shown, and the lady was very reluctant to show me, and she showed me first the insects. And the insects were very black. They had this, a big thing. But she said it's not about how they look. It's about what are you feeling around them. They were like a hungry creatures. And I say, who are they? And the word I heard, it was soulless. They do not have a soul. They coming from the portals. The portals are actually opening and reopening. It's like a wand, and creating what I saw. It started to create, because I asked her to show me more. She was really reluctant, but it looked like a wand, like opening the portals to darkness. And they were coming from there, and they are very smart because they are very hungry. They cannot create. Of course, we heard that stories. It's very similar to other theories, but they need to influence the mind because they do not have exactly the form. So they are not having body.
The parasitic entities that attach
to they are biological. They are not artificial intelligence. They use artificial intelligence. And there are other entities that are artificial intelligence, also not so friendly to us. But these beings are something different. The basic instinct, you cannot negotiate with them. The basic instinct is to survive, which is understandable. Every being wants to live and feed. And there is the doors open. Let's explore. Let's conquer. Who's that? Is the earth? So,
and Joanna, I'm just going to jump in here for the audience. You're talking about the praying mantis type insectoids, right? That alien race, or what are you talking about specifically?
Yeah. So I heard that those mantis are not bad, and we need to make sure that we are not putting everything to the one backpack, because there are mantis also that are positive. That's what I heard, at least. But I'm only talking what was shown to me, that they were not friendly. We are like a battery for them. It looked similar to the Matrix movie, with a difference. what I saw, it looked actually very beautiful. Sometimes, you know, those chips were like a little spiders that were shining. And if you destroy that chip, this microorganism doesn't die. It can walk. It's undestructible because it has a little bit different form, but it can track someone, but also it can perceive something and code someone with negative words, with something that we already have, because, and this is very important information, I think first time, Lucas, on your show, because I didn't do that show yet myself. I'm just gathering this information. It's very fresh. There is hope for us, because the good news is that they have to apply the principles of the universe. Absolutely. This Kybalion, this everything, what we know, the law of attraction, karma, they have to play within the rules. They are as well under contract. They have to obey the rules we all have. The only thing is that they are so tricking, they're able to trick us so much that they can mess up with astrology. So they can trick the souls that, let's say, because I had that within my one of the clients recently. There was a problem that her partner could not incarnate because he signed up a double contract. So they have some sort of contract that you can trick them, and the astrological chart, they can also manipulate that. So let's say you meet someone in your life and you love someone. It's a twin flame, it's a soulmate, whatever. That's a great thing. But the next astrological connection is so bad that you guys are gonna always argue. You're not gonna know why. There will be big disruptions. The other person will be also a target. And if you are light soul and you're working for the humankind, whatever, they use that other person that you love to get to you, because normally they cannot. The highest vibration you have, they cannot get to you. So they use those people you love, and it's manifesting profoundly, because like that was another one of my clients, like people meet, these couples are meeting for I don't know how many thousands times, and it's always said the same thing. No, not this lifetime, maybe the next one, just leave him alone, he's bad, And okay, I understand one lifetime, the soul wants to experience all that theory about soul expounding because it's so perfect and it's so boring, right? So let's create drama. I would accept that theory. I was really near accepting that if I would not see that not only me, but also my clients, people who are talking with other psychics, we experience the same thing over and over again. I say, like, how many times we can go through that and not finish our business? Like, what's fun? What kind of fun is this for the soul and the other person that is suffering on earth?
It's resonating so much with me, Joanna, because I have a twin flame relationship. I had the twin flame relationship for 7 years, and it was a roller coaster. And we had so many problems and fights and arguments, and I was always feeling like there was something between us.
Yes.
That this something didn't want to come to union, because they knew our strength, our power, our beauty, our love was going to be very impactful on humanity. So they were trying to divide us and separate us and, isolate us. And
it's even worse because they were...
He drowned in a pool, if he was...
I totally get it. You have no idea, probably. So and I have no idea how many we meet those people, because this is exactly what people in those relationships are telling me. And I experience the same thing. So I give you just an example. It can be like that. That's another thing. I was working on that one with another psychic, and she got so scared, she backed off and said, Joanna, I'm just observant. You do this if you want. So what I saw, it was in ancient Egypt. It was like a link it's not a chip, it's something different. It's like they are connecting to parts of the body of a person to suck energy. And they usually like people who are very talented artists. So
But
this is
what you're
actually,
describing, what you're describing here is the term archons and gems.
yes,
Right? It's the
yes,
archons, and those are the ones that orchestrated the soul trap and that heavenly frequency realm that is the karma wheel factory. And they can also possess people, suck energy,
thank
fear,
you.
angst, anxiety on people, and create turmoil, and also invade some of your organs to create dis-ease. If you don't understand that this is what has happened, it's an archon attack, and if you don't know how to get rid of it. So and they can probably also take form. We've discussed many times on the show with different researchers that maybe archons and possibly archons can take the shape of a reptilian, alien, an insectoid,
Yeah, yeah.
gray, or whatever, even humans, those that maybe we call psychopaths. But I mean,
Let me
very.
ask you this, because this entity that we saw, it was very long, amazingly tall, amazingly long, and it was laughing at us because it's interesting for everybody who has pains in the body. Like, you are totally healthy, nothing is going on, but people have suddenly some pains in the body. Usually that happens when it's connected to our spine and pineal gland, so ears, head, and so on. And they are linking, for the energy, they are linking back in time. So this is happening ancient Egypt, in those kind of places, but the person suffers now. So I saw numbers of that when I was doing sessions with people. And sometimes it's so complex because the reason why they trick us into karma is because they are using humans to convince them to do that, so they don't do anything. And they say, oh, you did that thing that was wrong, now you got to pay off for that. But they were influencing the mind of that person. So, for example, what I saw, they used the woman, a witch, and told her that she has to be stuck for thousands of years on the back of a man, for example, that actually from another client. And he had enormous pain in his life on his back, not mentioning that he always was wearing backpacks, like heavily filled backpacks, always, while he was carrying it, like a miracle. And there was like kind of a witch stuck on his shoulders, and she was just a transmitter for that energy. It's so indirect. It's almost like a beautiful art, psychopathic, beautiful art. So
And we also talk a
first,
lot about archon removal on the show with different people that work with clients and can do this archon removal
yeah,
and the
amazing. Yeah,
DNA
we're gonna
change.
talk with all of them.
But
But
Davida,
when
you had this experience, Davida, as well, with your what you call your twin flame as well,
with the twin flame.
and talk a little bit about how this, what Joanna is talking about, what I just said, how this is resonating with you, with what you experienced, and also maybe a pattern in your own life. I mean, you're both wonderful women, but what is it like to be a woman, an awake woman, a woman who knows about truthing, let's say, and
Yeah,
going through such a difficult path as, a lot of us are?
yeah. I call ourselves like modern day witches, right? Businesses, witches. For me, it's kind of the same, Just to finish my solar eclipse story, I broke the curse I had for 7 years since the last solar eclipse. I realized I was cursed because I lost my twin flame. We had so many fights, horrible, like the craziest things. And we were so much in love. And I was always thinking, why were always such in conflict and problem when we're so much in love? There is something in between that wants to stop us, right? So I felt that for 7 years. of bad luck and bad events, bad things. And then I realized during the eclipse, I had all these downloads. It was like a very positive experience to me, even though I thought it was scary and a black hole I didn't want to see and stuff, But I broke the curse myself with the power of will. And we can all do that. We can always have Joanna or somebody else helping us, facilitating us, but we can do it ourselves with intention and the power of will. I broke my curse for 7 years, and now I'm having my best life ever, right after the eclipse. Okay.
That sounds amazing.
So
Okay.
before, I was in Puerto Vallarta, I was having a great time, thinking I was a teenager again and partying and drinking and sleeping around with toy boys and having a great life, right? But that was a priestess life, and I was feeling that. I'm not honoring my priestess life. I'm getting lost in earthly pleasures and stuff, and I was thinking that I was feeling hopeless. I didn't believe in humanity anymore because with all these things happening right now, so I was losing hope. So the eclipse really helped me to upgrade it was a reset for me. It was like this black hole opened up, and then I was getting the best of it, even though it was black and scary and all these entities were coming through and, attaching in people's energy fields, whatever, but to me it was the opposite. So I quit drinking completely, no red meat, no meat at all, to keep my vibration high after the eclipse. I don't sleep around anymore, even though I'm Spanish redheaded and I love passion and sex and stuff, but I don't do that anymore because I want to keep my vibration very high for the right person. So it was a very positive impact I had with the power of will. We can all remove our parasitic entities, all the curses we can break with the power of will. We're that powerful. That's what Jesus came to earth to teach us. We are all God. We are all children of God, and we all have the power that Jesus had.
So that sounds really amazing that you were able to transform your energy and to do something that you feel is good for you. And also to get rid of that old baggage maybe that you were carrying for a long time. So the eclipse made that possible for you. So in a way, the eclipse was very, very good. It had a certain energy. It did have a frequency of change. So what was fake and wrong about it, which you say as well?
So the real sun is black. That's what Amun-Ra and Akhenaten said. The real sun is black. And what we see, it's a holographic representation of the sun. I mean, the sun doesn't look real anymore. It looks like a giant light bulb from the Truman Show. I even thought, oh my God, the eclipse is their change to their opportunity to change the light bulb. It's like a giant light bulb. The white light doesn't seem real anymore. The sun, let me tell you. So to me, because we are in a duality world universe, this planet is all dual, so we have both sides. So the real sun is black, which is the portal that opens, that liberate us from this matrix.
But how can the sun be black, Davida? The sun gives us life and the beams and the energy and the vitamins, and it is shining the light over the land. That means we have the sensation of daylight, and then later it's gonna be night, and then there's that 24-hour cycle. So and the sun is beautiful, and the sun feels good, and you can even get a tan in Mexico.
It doesn't feel the same way as before. Don't you remember growing up, we were painting these homes and trees and yellow suns. It was more like a golden light, warmer light. Now it's white. It feels
not at sunsets, and they have beautiful sunsets.
Not at sunset, that's right. But it feels like a giant movie set to me. It feels
Well,
like
maybe it is a giant movie set because the whole world is probably an illusionary holographic matrix anyway. The whole thing, including us, and you know, we are all made of atoms, and everything is made of atoms. And when you go really, really close to atoms, everything dissolves because atoms have no solidity. So we're all taking shape and taking form when you go out from that point, that reference point, and then everything manifests from a certain point of view.
But it's interesting what you're mentioning about that sun, because of course, Lucas, as you said, like it's impossible because you get sun, you get vitamin D, and it's immediately, and I can tell like sun in Barcelona is real. However, it's interesting what you said, because sometimes it feels like there is a sun here in Germany, but I don't really feel it. So I'm wondering now, I'm going to pay attention to that next month. I'm wondering about one thing from what Elon Musk and his projects are about. Are we not having something to do with this holographic experiments about the sun as well? Like, you know, experiment on humankind, like, hey, will these guys notice or not? And not sure if that can be connected with a Mandela effect also, because when they manipulate time, when they manipulate so much, we change our perception and we tend to rationalize and forget it. So let's watch that sun.
Yeah, and
That's
also we have been talking a lot about the dualism and the double-sided world here, and everything is upside down. What you just mentioned as well, Davida. And for years and since 2012, we've been talking about this. Some researchers suggest that we are living now in a copy of the original Earth, a simulation of, I mean, like the reflection in the water, what you see there. This is where we are right now and not in the original form, and that's part of that prison matrix system that we have to get out of when we understand what it is and how to change it. What are your thoughts on that, Davida?
Well, there is another theory that like we're thousands of years in the future, and now we're like in pods, like the matrix inside the pods, and we're like having all this simulation, you know, and we kind of fix the mess we created, you know, the past. And now we're here to really fix things, right? So there are so many theories, you know, and I'm open to everything. I'm so curious, and I'm very flexible and adaptable. So I have a very open mind, and I'm not fixed to anything. Okay, so I can say the black sun, and I don't think it's the real sun, blah, 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 but I'm not fixed into that idea, that opinion, that belief. So I'm mutable, you know. But the thing about the black sun is that it's only seen during the eclipse, but it's always there. And
but isn't that just a reflection and the shadow when it goes in front of each other, the moon and the earth and the sun?
Well, let me tell you that, you know, the Mayans, there is a theory that they disappeared, you know, during the summer equinox, when the sun was closer to Earth. That's when they escaped the Earth. They left the Earth. And there is an entrance in the sun, which is like a door, a black door, you know? So I believe the black sun is a way out of the matrix. You know, it's like this black hole that takes us to wherever we want to go, right? So it's a way out. It's the black sun.
And also it could be a way in for certain entities through the Large Hadron Collider.
Well said, because during the eclipse, we opened that portal, right? So many entities came through the eclipse.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think so. Many things are like good and bad, you know. I mean, there is no good and bad. It's just a human perception. But we open the portal to many entities, and many things are happening right now, you know.
So that goes a little bit back so that goes a little bit back to my original question. We have been working for the change. We've been working for the truth, been doing our best to enlighten and awake a lot of people. And we've seen so many people awaken just in the last 10 years. It's been quite amazing. And since I started my journey in 2005, I mean, there's hardly anybody. You had to really search for it. But now, you know, you'll find people everywhere. So yes, there is a mass awakening in a way. But is that a large enough percentage in terms of, you know, the entire population of the Earth? Does it really matter? Do we see the change? Will we not have the full implementation of the New World Order? Will we not have the whole climate thing and the all these things that we've been talking about and some things we're not going to talk about? Wars are still happening. And they're
Yeah.
still doing all of these things step by step. And my God, they're working faster now.
Yes.
So I
All
mean,
supposed
how
to
can we
happen
change
this
the
way.
paradigm? Both of you.
It's all supposed to happen this way. Okay, what's going on right now, it's all aligned with the divine plan. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. Okay, so it's our time to step in as light workers and saviors, or however you want to call ourselves. You know, it's our
What
time
do you think about that, Joanna? Do we need to go away, move into the woods, and dissociate ourselves from the city and the people we've been surrounded by? Or do we stay in there to do the work, or and then we live a separate life from all the other people? What is the how does it all work, do you think, right now?
Okay, I have a little bit different approach, because what I'm seeing is a groups of people, communities that they are follow the opinion of other people, and they don't land so well. And I can tell from my own experiences, anytime I follow the opinions of other people, and it doesn't matter how scientific it sounded, how great they were not mine and they were not for me. So if I made a mistake to listen to someone else, I didn't, something didn't work out for me. And now we also access many things, because we are influenced by ancestors tree too. So it works like that. If you want to break off from your DNA family tree and reincarnation and so on, there is something like subconscious loyalty to your family tree. So if they did not make it, you won't make it. And subconsciously, if you don't see the pattern, you won't be able to make it. So it doesn't matter how many times we hear positive thinking, hey, let's work together, let's communicate together. It's working only when you have access to yourself. If you find that coding, and it happens in a very specific, I think it's all about alertness right now. Because if you are alert, if the opportunity is happening in front of you and you really want to take it, let's say it's a trip, it's a knowing someone, going somewhere, whatever it is, conversation with someone. And right before that conversation, right before that important event for you, and you feel it's important, your family is calling you, your other people calling you, and suddenly you have a lot of disruption, you can be sure that there is some interference that wants to keep you in the box that you were before, if you don't pick on those moments. So I think the most important is, because everyone is individual, is to know yourself. You cannot be wrong about that one, at least. What is good for you and at current moments? Because if you are, some people say egoistic, but it's a healthy egoism. If you have a healthy boundaries with the people and you feel like Davida, you said you were feeling not going. Everybody say, yeah, it's an esoteric event. It's great, spiritual, enjoy it, right? But you felt deeply within yourself, don't go there. So then you get access to yourself. So you have a better chance, and I'm not saying you're going to win, but you have a better chance to find out how it works for you. Because if it's working for you, you are a bulb, a lamp for all those souls outside of you, if you stay in your center. So that's my opinion. It doesn't matter if it's going to be community. It's like a secondary, how it's going to be. You can be perfectly alone. There are people who are sustaining themselves and living alone, kind of, but they don't really need other people. There are people like that. It's very few. But there are also people who are functioning better in communities. There are people who are nomads. They don't need much. And some people would just go crazy. You know, if you are an empath, you probably cannot live with a bunch of people in one apartment, because you're going to lose the sense of who you are and who are they. You're going to perceive their problems. So it's so individual. And from that point, when I had this recent access, they said to be so alert, like you almost, if you want this to not affect you so much, like your mind has to be transparent for those beings. Because even if we use visualization, this is another dangerous part and wonderful part. So you're visualizing, but you're given access by enormous excitement or fear. You're given access to yourself. So visualization is still good, but to trick certain entities, you should be transparent. A little bit like bipolar person. You never know, so they never know with you. Almost like that. Almost like you're not traceable. You can feel good. Maybe you're gonna do this, maybe that. Who knows? You can change your mind just like that. So you have a better chance there. So that's another tip. But going just, I'm not this overly optimistic person. I think more has to happen. We are working on it. We are on the good way. We are connecting and we are doing anything what's in our power. But we don't need to trust each other. It's enough we trust ourselves. Because if you trust yourself, you can pick up those moments when your beloved one, let's say your twin flame, like you had. So to see him clearly, it's about centering yourself, because I had that experience too. And the moment that darkness was happening around me, I heard a direct voice telling me, now you got to go this way. Don't let your light be interrupted. So I had to go and work with my light, and then I could approach that topic again, but from a different spot of consciousness. The moment we, especially if you're light worker, the moment you argue with someone, you already know that there is some other entities involved in it, because I never heard an argument that made sense, right? I don't know if I answer your question, Lucas, but all in all,
it's very interesting. But it's also, it really it ties into the whole thing about truth research, conspiracy research, the spiritual groups, and I guess we've all been part of this for a long time in one way or the other. But I mean, what we need now, what we hear a lot, is how we can work together, be together, stand together, and then we'll become more successful in defeating this madness that we are experiencing from the top elitists. And the thing is, what we are also seeing is a lot of infighting. We're seeing a lot of Hegelian dialective strategies, splitting, divide and conquer, also within the truth movement and spiritual movement. And you just said, Joanna, that people should not listen so much to anybody else, although inspiration is very, very good. Then we certainly know that it's very difficult to work together, sadly, even though we should. And in that way, a lot of people are doing the elite's work, not being able to fully work in groups. But I mean, how can we teach people to integrate more
Lucas,
in positivity and success?
Let me jump in. Please, let me jump in, because it's one of the topics I love the most, because we're so divided as light workers, truth seekers, truth fighters, whatever. We're so fucking divided. And we're so egoistical, self-centered. We all want to be free. We don't want to be told what to do, and so we're not organized like the dark shadows. They're very well organized. The secret societies, however you want to call them, they're really well organized. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, they silence you, they disappear you. We cannot do that with the light worker community, the freedom cell or whatever, but we're so divided. And we will never do anything with just one here, one there. We have to come together right now. Oh yeah.
But a lot of people are not even able to do that within these spiritual and truth circles. They don't even know how to work together.
Oh no, can I address that? Because actually I watched that for a while now, and I was always the person that was always away from any organization, because I know the tricks, and it is also working like that. If you do belong to the organization, where the problem is, you know, as a person that works with, you know, coaching before and negotiation mediation, I did that before. The groups that had most problems were spiritual people. Really, those communities were falling apart first. They were completely unprepared. They had no idea where they end. There was no assertiveness. There was not even a sense of who you are. You cannot build up community if you don't have borders with yourself. And another thing is, if you don't know your darkness. So if those people were trying to be positive, optimistic, let's work together, let's just make together, everything will be fine. No, it won't. Why? Because if I'm not aware that I'm also angry, irritated, jealous, sad, depressed, we encompass all. If we don't know how to be in those emotions in front of other people and work that through with respect, we never will be able to create any community. There will be like, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm good. But then I'm jealous or angry at you, but I'm not going to tell you, right? Because it's not allowed, because I have to be positive.
The new age community, you know, it's all about, oh, you shouldn't be angry about anything. It's a low vibration, it's negative and stuff. But now it's the time to be angry. We must be angry because the world was falling apart.
We need to
use that anger as a force, as an energy, as a power to do something constructive and creative. I use that anger to create what I do.
It cannot be suppressed. That's what you mean. It cannot be suppressed. And this is only psychological part. The other reason why it's not working is energetical part. So what I observed in those organizations that they are spiritual, they have like a women power group, whatever that is. What's happening? The leader usually has a problem, and after meeting, this problem spreads to every member. They have similar problems. They strengthen that problem because there is something like integrity, like loyalty. It's like a new family, and that loyalty that we have in ancestors tree, it's also running in that circle, and it actually binds and makes a new form of slavery, unfortunately. So there is a way out of it. How we do that? Because being, you know, knowing all that, I was very reluctant to create my own group. I'm leading a group right now. I was a teacher for over 20 years. I always was a leader considering different groups. So I had to find a way how to do that. So I give people freedom, and they also not too tight in it, and they are themselves. They don't lose their individuality, even if they dance in the group. Because I watched that in the group, you know, after a while, if people dance the same choreography, they lose their individuality. And I don't like that. I like them to express their style, their feeling, not just merge with the group and everybody has to, you know, just be the same. I never liked that. But I watch in every company, every dance theater, you can see, oh, this is the style of this choreographer, and they merge with that choreographer and they behave like that choreographer, they walk like that choreographer, talk, think, whatever. It's like mind control. So to not do that, when I do it now, when I was leading my groups, it's very important that when we meet, but everyone works on selves. Just because I'm working on myself and I spread the light around, they do the same. We create more of something good. But then after the work is done, we disconnect. Everyone is in own energy. So every time I do a group work, the safety is set at the very beginning. And there are certain ethics. So if the group wants to talk after the meeting and I'm already away, I say, you guys can talk, but none of you, if not asked, don't give advices to other people, only if you are asked. And this is not only to not interfere with other people's business, but if we do give advices not asked, and unfortunately we all do that, right? But we just want to help, right? But we practice that now to not do it. Like, you know, if I step over, let me know, you know, so sort of things.
And
Because
respect, especially
yeah,
as a leader, is extremely important. How are you about groups and what you're seeing in the world now, Davida, with all of these so-called light workers or truthers who wants to work together in the beginning and then it all fall apart?
We never get anywhere. You know, here in Mexico, we had the Freedom Self movement. You know, we were having this Congress once a year in Morelia. I don't know if you guys went to, but it was a big thing, you know, and it happened during and after pandemic. Can I say that?
yeah.
Can I say that? But you know, they're big talkers. They talk, and they smoke pot a lot too. So it's just it just stays in the air, in the clouds, but then nothing comes to action, to reality, to the 3D world. And it's so frustrating, you know, because we never kind of get
So this
anywhere.
is really, really, when it comes down to it, it's really all about ego, right? The
It
same
is,
mechanism that happens if you are in a union about food or clothes or whatever. I mean, or whatever union or group you're in, it's the same ego that always takes over. And there's always somebody who wants to be the guiding light or the guru, so to speak. And that's where it all falls apart, right?
Yeah.
it is, yeah, you know.
So how can we win? How
But
can
like when we all getting united and we agree to all meditate at the same time in many cities of the world at the same time, same day. Have you done that? That's so effective. That's really well organized. Whoever is putting that together, kudos. Because, you know, like the Global Meditation Day, have you done that before? So we all meditate at the same time. Okay, like thousands, millions of people all over the world, and it raises the frequency. So it's proven we can do that. We can all get together and do the same at the same time. You know, a powerful mantra like Om or Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, if we all do it at once, that's so powerful. And that creates a protective shield over the planet, you know, and it raises the frequency. So it's proven we can do that, but we can do
yes,
more
that's
than
also a very powerful tool, it's not a physically active tool in the same way as going out, doing things, talking, but it's going inward and it's also creating an energy field that is very very important because energy is everything, and there are frequencies coming from within, and we're all made of frequencies.
more effective. Look at Gandhi, what he was able to do, you know, like just sitting down, be quiet, meditating, being pacific, non-violence. He liberated India from slavery, from
Well, it was quite a way to lose weight, though. Maybe once you try that one day. Anyway,
Considering, Davida, what you said about meditating, I have a one problem with meditating, and this is actually very good because, you know, the scientists already proved, wow, 20 years ago, I had it on the social psychology at the university. These were social experiments that for some people that people prayed for, they were coming back to health faster, and there was a less rate of death. And these experiments, I think they are launched later on with meditations. It's absolutely working. I don't say it's not. But the only thing that I noticed that people who are told, yeah, just stay peaceful, you know, say Om and be in this thing, people are not, some of them, because if you are already progressing, if you know what you're doing, no problem. But some people are so unprepared, they don't even know how to breathe. And the problem with that that they just falling asleep while meditating and they have no idea what to do. So I think this is the problem that people are dispersing, because they don't really know how to do that. If they are just told, yeah, just stand, sit peacefully for a while. How I solve that, anytime I work, on the mental level, visualization, meditation, how I solve that, first we do a number of breathing, and exactly breathing that is very, very sensational with your body, and then commands and sayings that are directly asking you, locate your point of power in that particular moment when you breathe like this or like that.
Joanna, is that like the Wim Hof technique?
I never tried his technique. What I'm using, it's more connected with Kriya Yoga, which I'm not teaching, but I noticed now when I studied Merkaba, how to activate Merkaba within your body, the similarity that I'm using for years are very much described the same way there. So you are creating a sense and you waking up Kundalini by the certain breaths, and you are raising up your energy, but you are also, after a while, if you are more progressed, advanced, to connect the upper with the lower at the same time. So you draw the energy, then you create a column of light or whatever, people are. But without that practice and being able to maintain your focus for a certain amount of time, you cannot create anything. So you cannot also meditate, and your energy is dispersed. Every yogic master, they say the reason why they sit such a long time in quietness is because they pull energy. This is another important aspect when I work with group. We pull the energy from the event, from your spouses, from everything that is affecting you to yourself. And you need that energy because you need to be with yourself. If part of your energy is arguing with your husband or whatever wife, you cannot do the work because your cup is sinking. So you need to be absolutely full first in order to do that work. And there are specific methods of that. Like, for example, when I was channeling, I call them the greatest beings on earth: Babaji, Lahiri Mahasaya, Sri Yukteswar. And that was so spontaneous. I wish I could, have more connection, because it's like a grace. You cannot, if they don't want to be approached, they're not gonna give you message. So Lahiri Mahasaya, he came to me for 3 days only. And he has a very kind, polite way of telling you and pointing out your mistakes. And he pointed out like how my mind is dispersed still and unfocused. And this is true, because sometimes I have very hard time to focus my mind. And he was tricking me and showing me, okay, let us see if you can find me in space. And I knew I cannot find you if you don't let me. And say, yeah, I know, but you can still reach out, because you need to reach out to the certain point. And then they decide, will they come to you or not? It's like,
and the power of visualization. I forgot to add that. When you meditate, visualize. You have to visualize
absolutely. Thank you.
Think, like, imagine what you want to achieve with your mind. That's the most powerful thing, through the third eye.
Yeah, you're talking about activation of pineal gland. And this is amazing, because if we connect that with our heart, that is like a bell almost, like it's so powerful. And also in those things, probably you had that too, and you had that, Lucas, too. When I was working with Reiki, I was wondering, why hands? And then they told me, because it's also heart chakra. It's connection. We are so connected with that level. But if you connect it with mind, with heart, and what people forget about, first chakra is enormously important. All the people who seem to be spiritual or telling me that they are very spiritual, they have great visions. Really, they are wonderful. They channel. They have visions. They are in that world, like amazing things they doing, artists, very often they like first, second, and third chakra. They do not exist in the world. They're not assertive. They're not healthy. There is a lot lacking there. I think that also there is a trick in all this esotericism and spirituality, that they trick those people too. Told them, yeah, you don't have your instincts. So first of all, you mentioned before about sex, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
You
like
mentioned about sex. Suppressing that is absolutely suppressing Kundalini and absolutely suppressing your access to creativity.
suppressing intuition. We have been domesticated, programmed to dissociate ourselves from our own intuition, gut feeling.
Yes, thank
like,
you.
like what we see, like I see, like the sky is blue. Why is it blue? And they tell us, the scientists, oh, it's blue because of this, because of that. But there is something more to it, right? So it's like my gut feeling with Eclipse. I felt that wasn't the moon covering the sun. That was my gut feeling. And then I've done
Right.
So I follow my gut feeling, because God and God sounds the same one. English is a very, very tricky language, right? It's you can cast spells with the English language.
Oh, Everett, yes.
3 brains, the brain, the heart, and the gut. And we're so dissociated from the gut feeling. We're full of parasites. Talking about parasites, the parasites,
another big one.
They cause cancer, all disease, all illnesses. We're full of parasites. Doctors will never tell you the cause of cancer are fungus and parasites. They will never tell you that, because you can heal yourself with a little pill, the ones they use for the horses to remove the parasites. But no, you have to go through chemo and all that shit, radiation, like my mom went through. And like the pineal gland is the most attacked gland in the body, in the human body. With the fluoride and the toothpaste and the water.
Yeah.
Also attack, and then disconnected from our hearts too. One of the things was to be 6 feet apart from each other. And that the heart magnetic field is 6 feet.
Right. How perfectly. So I knew,
yeah.
And so they bury you 6 feet under.
And the rest, I'm from God. I'm 6 feet under too.
So Davida, let me just ask you about, well, first I'm going to ask you and then Joanna about let's say the sensation of happiness, the sensation of joy. What is that for you, being who you are in this world at this time on the timeline, being very, let's say, separated or segregated from the people that live let's say, the normal lives? And you're also a woman, and so are you, Joanna, and you are talking about these emotions, these feelings, and I think it's a popular thing, at least out there widely, that women have a different sexual drive than men, but a lot of people don't actually know that women actually have maybe even a greater sexual drive, or that what they have and what they can express through those emotions are quite incredible, and a lot of men cannot follow that. So, I mean, the sensation of joy and the sexual energy as a woman, can you address that first you, Davida, and then Joanna?
As you were speaking, I was getting goosebumps, right? Because yeah, you too, right? So, I mean, women were highly emotional beings. We're highly emotionally intelligent. So for me as a woman, I'm attracted to emotional intelligence in the men, right? And, what attracts me is different than what men is attracted to women, But going back to your question, what brings me joy and happiness is every morning when I wake up and I say, oh my God, one more day, I'm here. That's amazing. After all the beloved ones I lost, the love of my life, my family, my spiritual teachers. I lost so many people in the last 10 years. That's crazy. And I'm still here. And I'm becoming a better person every day. And I'm more driven and more committed and more passionate than ever, to make a difference. Because I believe this is my last chance. Because I don't want to come back next life. Okay, I want to get it all right this lifetime and upgrade and graduate and go to the next level, right? So just being here, the opportunity to talk to you and Joanna, and Felix, what's his name? Felix?
Lauge Felix Black.
We always forget. Why we always forget? I
know, but I remember Felix, like Felix the cat, Felix the cat. Yeah. So just being here with your audience, that's so amazing. It brings me so much joy and happiness and fulfillment. So thank you. That's what makes my life worth living.
That's wonderful. Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think we're really touching upon some very interesting, we're going in some different corners here, and that's wonderful. Davida, just before I asked Joanna the same thing, so what about the sensation of love? Let's say you were talking about going to sleeping with different people, and now you didn't want that. You wanted to save your energy. But in this day and age, and you're awake and aware, and you're that kind of woman, a very emotional, but also a strong woman. How easy or difficult is it then to find love or a new soulmate? Be open to that. And could you ever choose somebody that was not in the same, let's say, on the same wavelength and had maybe taken things that you did not take and, and did not go down the same road as you? Yeah. How easy or difficult is it?
Yeah, well, after experiencing the most intense, most amazing, most beautiful love that anybody can have in their lifetimes, because twin flame relationships are truly a gift. And now more than ever, it's happening more and more as the planet, the Earth, it's raising its frequency, it's upgrading, evolving. More and more it's happening that we are reconnecting, reuniting with splits of our soul, that we have several ones, right? But the one who will bring more peace to me, more than any twin flame, is a soulmate. A soulmate, a peaceful, quiet, steady, committed life. That will bring me so much peace. But but I'm so picky too, right? So I cannot be with one just to be with. But at the same time, I'm afraid I don't want to end up like an old lady with a house full of cats. So, I'm 44, so I'm ready to love. I have so much love to give, but I'll be patient. I will not make any more mistakes. So I won't let anybody come into my priestess temple without the requirements,
Wow.
that a man needs.
Very, very, very fascinating and sounds beautiful. Joanna, the same question, sensation of joy, happiness, being a woman with all these incredible emotions and that quite incredible sexuality that women have.
Well, I'm so connecting with Davida, what you all said. I understand you perfectly here, everything what you said. Lucas, you asked the question for several lectures, several sessions at least, because I will make my best to make it precise. But first you asked about bliss, joy, and for me was always a bliss, and something Davida touched on too. I agree with that absolutely, because big part of that is not only feeling that bliss within yourself, but also connecting with other people. So when I see eyes of people, connection of the soul, communication, it can be verbal and non-verbal. It can be a great conversation. It can be, action. So people can be so compatible that they just lead each other perfect way. It's amazing. And that I experienced actually when I had sort of, some people call it mini enlightenment, sort of, sorry for that noise outside, sort of enlightenment when I kind of wanted to meditate myself out of body because I decided it's not worth it anymore here, right? So I was doing those kriyas, and what happened after hours of pumping that kriya yoga breaths, instead of leaving the body, I started to feel amazingly happy out of nothing. I was just shining happiness. And it was sustaining for several months. Wherever I was going, people were asking me if I am in love, why I am so happy. And I had nothing. I was sick. I just arrived in Germany that time. So, but I was like having this sensational bliss. I got later on, it was magic, downloading those wisdom of Srivatsa, Lakshmi, and they were just showing up and telling me, say that mantra, and they show me how to sing it even. And they were leading me through, I was just emanating that light. And the most important for me was staying in that light and in that bliss, because wherever I was going, I was seeing in people's mirror of that light. Everyone was beautiful. Every experience was, absolutely fantastic when you are on such a state. So for me, happiness is that within yourself, and you can emanate on other people, and then you connect with them so much better. That's the first question. The second one, oh my God, this is something about sexuality. So you ask about, can you frame that again? So I'm going to focus, because it's so complex about sexuality, because of our structure.
Well, I think just briefly to say that it's shrouded in mystery, the female sexuality. It's either porn, or it's like you're almost a nun and don't approach a woman. It would be too much. You're a male chauvinist, and with this whole gender agenda, and that it's also dividing people. And men are like becoming afraid of approaching women today because are they too much and what's going on? But what is really suppressed a lot, not only the male sexuality, they always kind of try to suppress that, even though that was very difficult. But to suppress the female, well, energy and sexuality, that has been done for centuries, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And to understand the connection, just to wrap that up, to understand the connection between that sexuality, sacred sexuality, that, let's say that, and the energy, that connection to the spiritual plane.
So I can answer that like that because of our structure. So men, in the energy, I'm not talking about the gender even, let's just put it aside just for a second to understand the sexuality from how we are structured. Male energy is a doer, giver, offering. And the women energy is receiving, transforming, creating, being. If these are compatible, so if I have a right kind of man around me, compatible, and I was for 12 years in a relationship that actually ended last year, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It ended due to other things that happened. So with that man, that particular man, when it's compatible with you on so many levels, is bringing you to another level. You are becoming a better human, better being. You are absolutely creating. So with him, he's an author of all my book covers. He absolutely, encouraged, like we work together. He did some of my little filmmaking, concepts. So it was absolutely beautiful. And I love him, adore him forever, because it's actually great person, and it fits, it's compatible, it's forever, it's this eternal feeling. So when a woman has that, she can achieve so much more. She is powerful herself, but with the right kind of energy from a man, she can achieve so much more. Of course, it's a different qualities, because whatever man is bringing to the table, people are connected with alcoholics, with, husbands that is, aggressive, whatever. If the woman is smart and can use that, she's still going to benefit. At a certain point, there is the certain decision to make. But I believe that people are presented as a mirror for us to learn. So it happened to me that I also had a partner that was absolutely in the darkness, absolutely in the darkness. But when our energies were so compatible that he could touch me and I had a vivid dreams about who we were, so he triggered my permanent memory. He made me, do things I was never doing before. His presence can make a woman, like when you have generally someone like that, can make a woman heal from the problems that she was carrying on through the life, the chronic things or whatever was going on, just the presence. But the amount of darkness within everyone, if it's not consciously, can also destroy that woman at the same time. So it's so complex. Now, when we switch that all around between different gender, and because we carry within ourselves different types of energy, that is male and female, that's the Jungian and everything. And also, the genders, how it is now, how people discovering themselves. Some souls are incarnating not in the right body they didn't want to have, they change. Everything is possible. So there is the matter of knowing self, because when you have compatibility and you can switch those elements of being a male or female in particular body, so you can use those energies. And women can do that also, even if they just would like to be with a man. They can also integrate that part and understand the man by wearing that energy of a man for a while to understand him. That is also a possibility. But if that is absolutely compatible, those people who connect can create absolutely amazing things. And I don't know if I can do it here. That's why I wanted Lucas also to invite you with Laugen. And because I sense that absolutely amazing vibration, how you guys cooperate together. And it's felt through the quality of the production you are doing. It's absolutely fantastic. You can feel that.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
That's so great.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure to speak with both of you. So I feel I have a new sister with Joanna.
Yes, we have to connect. I hopefully to be closer to you and visit Mexico. Who knows?
Yeah, and I can teach you Catalan. You need to speak Catalan in Barcelona.
Right.
Just the basic things to get around, so you'll be treated better.
I thought it would be a wonderful thing to put the two of you together and to have this discussion between all of us. And I think we really touched upon some really great topics here, and it's been really wonderful. But in closure, do you have, both of you, do you have final thoughts for the audience? That is definitely very important.
Yes, this year, the year of the dragon, the year of karma and dharma, we're going to harvest all our karma and dharma, and it's the most transformational year. Every year I say the same, okay? Every year is transformational, but this one, the year of the dragon, so much going on in the planet. Now we have the US elections, which will affect the rest of the world, and there's so much going on, and I'm so excited to witness all these big changes in life. And I just want to say to your lovely audience, loyal, lovely audience, that you have the power of will to change the world as you see, as you feel, as you embody. You have that power. So use it wisely, listen to your gut feelings, connect your heart and your pineal gland, have it all aligned, and go for it. Go to the streets, make a difference. You can do it. I've done it. You can do it.
Oh, that's wonderful, Davida. And Joanna, your final thoughts.
Of course, I have to sign for everything what Davida just said. It's lovely, lovely. I'm just going to add that, first of all, God, follow your God, follow yourself first. And then you check If what you feel is aligning with of what other people say, that's the way, the better, the more healthy way how to do it. And what I'm watching with, you know, audience also on my channel, and also maybe Lucas is the same way. And what I'm actually so happy about, like, people connect. I say, don't stay alone. Don't stay alone. Watch it for people that are similar minded and compatible with you. And so many beautiful friendships started to happen in the comments or on chat when I was premiering. So sometimes I'm looking forward to that, because people greeting themselves, they get to know each other. The friendships, like, thanks to those shows that, you know, we are doing, other people are doing, people actually are creating community and they are connecting. So keep doing what you're doing. That's my final message. You're doing great.
Unifying all these scattered light workers all over the world, unifying them through your podcast. You know, you're the unifier person, agent, unifier agent. I like that.
Oh, it's wonderful. And it's such a privilege to even be doing this, and also with two such wonderful, beautiful women today. I think it's absolutely really great. I hope the audience will love the conversation, and I hope everybody will comment in the comment section below about what we've been discussing, and hearing both of your thoughts and your heart. And I hope we can do it again, because it will be wonderful. So first of all, Joanna Pilatowicz and Davida Sal, thank you so much for being on Age of Truth TV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucas, so much. Hug you and both of you and the audience, and let's meet again.
Have a beautiful Sunday, rest of the Sunday.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And have a wonderful day in Mexico and in Germany.
Mi casa, su casa.
Thank you. Great. Thank you so much to Davida Sal and Joanna Pilatowicz. And thanks to all of you for watching Age of Truth TV. You can support us by clicking onto our website, ageoftruthtv. And please like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for notifications. You can sign up for our newsletter on our website, ageoftruthtv as well. Please also subscribe to our alternative channels on BitChute and Brighteon. And you can find our entire library on our website again, ageoftruthtv. Your support is greatly needed and very appreciated. And on behalf of the Age of Truth TV team, we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.